The Las Vegas housing market in 2026 is going to create real winners and real losers. And I'm not talking about investors with spreadsheets. I am not talking about hedge funds or institutional buyers. I am talking about regular Las Vegas homeowners, people who bought a house, built a life in this city, and now are sitting on an asset that could either work significantly in their favor this year or quietly work against them. The difference between the winners and the losers is not luck. It is not timing the market perfectly. It's not having some inside information that nobody else has access to. The difference is one thing. What you know and what you do with what you know. I am going to go ahead and break down both groups for you today. Exactly what the losing homeowners are doing right now and exactly what the winning homeowners are doing instead, and where you fit into this whole picture, this whole equation. Quick introduction. If you're finding me for the first time, my name is Chriscashjalem. I sell real estate in Las Vegas with Cash Jalem Group at Realty ONE Group, and I've lived in this city for more than 20 years. I came up in Las Vegas as a radio personality, spent years as a VIP host on the Strip, transitioned into entrepreneurship, into building businesses, into podcasting, into real estate, and now into this channel, Vegas Live Media, where the whole mission is giving Las Vegas homeowners, buyers, and people thinking about moving here the real information they need to make the smart decision. I am a father. I am a coach to my kids' sports teams. In the southwest of Las Vegas is where I live, the same neighborhoods where I help families buy and sell homes every week. This city is not a market to me. It is the place. It's the place I choose to build my life. And that matters because everything I'm going to tell you today comes from being embedded in this community, not from a desk somewhere analyzing it from a distance. No, this is 20 plus years in Las Vegas, which means I've seen the full cycle. I was here in 2006 when everyone thought prices would go up forever. I was here when they did it. I was here in 2011 when you couldn't give a house away and people were walking away from mortgages by the thousands. And I was here in 2021 when the market lost its mind and the homes were going 30% over asking price in a weekend. And I'm here right now watching this next chapter unfold, which is why this conversation is worth having. Before we talk about winners and losers, let me go ahead and give you the actual picture of what's happening in this market right now, because a lot of people are hearing it is either way too optimistic or way too scary, and neither version is actually accurate. Here's the honest snapshot. Nationally, 47 of the top 50 cities are showing a weaker housing market than a year ago. Homes are taking the longest time to sell in over a decade. Sellers now outnumber active buyers by more than 600K across the country. 600,000 people across the country, and home price growth nationally hits its weakest level since 2011. Las Vegas is not the hardest hit market in the country, not by a long shot. We're not Austin, which gave back nearly 6% from already reduced levels. We're not coastal Florida, which is getting crushed by insurance costs and overbuilding. Las Vegas still has a fundamental migration story working in its favor. People are still moving here. The city is still growing. The economic development happening in this valley, I'm talking about the sports teams, the data centers, the infrastructure investment. That's real. And it actually matters for the long-term property values. And this is the part of the conversation that separates the homeowners who will win from the ones who won't. The rules of this market have changed. The assumptions that served you in 2020 and 2021 are now working against you, and a lot of Las Vegas homeowners haven't updated their mental model of what this market requires. That gap between the old playbook and the new one is exactly where the winners and the losers are being separated right now. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. I want to start with the losing patterns. Not to be harsh, but because I think awareness is the first step. And I've watched good people, smart people, people who love their homes and their families make these mistakes over and over in shifting markets. Not because they're foolish, because nobody told them what the market actually requires. Loser number one, the homeowner waiting for the right time that isn't coming. This is the most common losing pattern in Las Vegas right now. The homeowner who has been thinking about selling or buying their next home for the last 12 to 18 months, but keeps waiting for mortgage rates to drop back to 5%, waiting for the market to settle, waiting to see what happens with the economy, with the election, with the oil prices, with interest rates. I understand this impulse completely. It totally makes sense to me. Nobody wants to make a major financial move at the wrong moment. I get that. But here's what 20 plus years in this market has taught me. The homeowners who wait for the perfect conditions almost never find them. Because by the time the conditions feel perfect, by the time the headlines are optimistic and the rates are lower and everyone feels good about the market, the opportunity has already been priced in. The buyers who were on the sideline are now competing against them. The leverage you had as a buyer or the window you had to sell into lower inventory is now gone. The affordability window we were watching crack open this year. Rates heading towards 5.8% just got slammed shut by oil price spikes from the overseas conflict that's going on. The rate relief that was coming has been delayed. Nobody knows for how long. The homeowners who were waiting for that moment to move are now facing the same rates they had 6 months ago, with an additional 6 months of their life passed away. Waiting for the perfect conditions is often the most expensive decision you can make. Loser number two, the seller pricing for yesterday's market. The second losing pattern is the seller who priced their home based on what it was worth 2 or 3 years ago, or worse, based on what their neighbor thinks it's worth, or what some online estimate told them at a peak market condition. Las Vegas homes prices ran up dramatically between 2020 and 2022. The appreciation was real, but it was also extraordinary, fueled by pandemic migration, historically low interest rates, and a supply shortage that has since been substantially corrected. The sellers who are anchoring to those peak numbers are not living in the current market. They are living in the memory of a market that no longer exists. And here's what this costs them. Every week your home sits on the market overpriced, it loses perceived value in the eyes of the buyers. Days on the market is the first thing a sophisticated buyer looks at. A home that has been sitting for 60, 90, 120 days sends one signal: something is wrong with the house. Whether that's true or not, that perception drives buyers away, forces price reductions, and ultimately results in a lower final sales price than a correctly priced home would have achieved from day one. Okay, loser number three, the equity-rich homeowner who doesn't know what they have. This one I think about a lot because it's the quietest losing pattern of all. There are Las Vegas homeowners right now who have bought in 2018, 2019, 2020, who have significant equity in their homes, sometimes 150K, 200K, 250K or more, who have no idea what to do with that asset or how it fits into the larger financial life. They're not thinking about selling because they feel comfortable. And on the surface, that looks like winning, and I get that. But here's what I want to challenge. Equity that sits in a home with no strategy attached to it is not working for you. It is just sitting there. And in a market where prices are flatlining, where the real terms, values of your home is actually declining when you account for inflation, that equity can quietly erode while you are living comfortable. The winning version of this homeowner is the one who takes that equity and puts it to work, whether that's trading up into a larger home at a better value, using it to purchase an investment property, or making a strategic move that improves their financial position while the opportunity exists. The losing version is the one who discovers 5 years from now that the window was open and they didn't go through it. Loser number 4, the homeowner who hired the wrong agent. I'm going to go ahead and say something that not many agents say out loud. One of the biggest reasons Las Vegas homeowners lose in this market is because they listed their home with the wrong person. In a hot market, almost any agent can sell a house when buyers are fighting over everything and inventory is scarce. You don't need strategy, you just need a lockbox and an MLS number. That era is over. In the market where we're in right now, the agent you choose matters enormously. And the most common mistake I see sellers make is choosing an agent who gave them the highest list price estimate because that agent told them what they wanted to hear. I watched this play out more times than I can count. A seller gets 3 options. 2 agents give realistic numbers backed by current comparable sales. 1 agent gives them a number 40 or 50K higher than the market. The seller lists with that agent because the number felt good. 60 days later, they've had 2 price reductions. Their home is stigmatized in the MLS, and they end up selling for less than the realistic number would have gotten them from day one. And that's not hypothetical. This is a pattern I have personally watched happen over and over. The agent who gives you the highest number isn't going to do you any favors, okay? Now let's talk about the homeowners who are going to win. And I want to be specific about this because I want to tell you exactly what the winning pattern looks like so you can hold it up against your own situation and see where you stand, okay? Winner number 1, the seller who prices with precision and moves with intention. The winner seller is the one who has an honest, data-driven conversation with their agent. I know I drew that out long because it's important. Not about what they hope their home is worth, but about what the current comparable sales, the current buyer pool, and the current competitive landscape actually supports. And then they price there on day one without the emotional anchor to the 2022 peak of the neighbor's opinion or the zestimate that hasn't been updated in 3 months. They price to the market that exists now at the current moment. And because of that, they capture maximum buyer attention in their launch window, generate real activity, and close on a timeline that works for their life. This is not settling. This is not leaving money on the table. This is understanding that a home that sells in 3 weeks at the right price almost always nets more money after carrying costs, price reductions, and negotiating from a weekend position than a home that sits for 3 months trying to chase the market down every time. The data is unclear on this one, okay? Winner number 2, the equity smart homeowner who uses this market's weakness to their advantage. Here's the insight that most Las Vegas homeowners are missing. If you're selling your home and buying another one in the same market, whether you're trading up or downsizing or moving to a different part of the valley, the market conditions affect both sides of the transaction. And right now, the buy side is significantly more favorable than it's been in 4 years. Sellers are negotiating. Builders are offering rate buy downs and closing cost credits. Inventory is elevated, which means you have options you simply did not have in 2021. If you've been sitting on your current home waiting for the right time to move up to the house you actually want, you are living in that window right now. The home you're selling might net you slightly less than it would have at peak, but the home you're buying is also priced and incentivized in your favor. The net of those 2 transactions is often better than people expect. In a buyer's market, trading up is a power move, not a risk. Winner number 3, the investment mindset, okay? Homeowners who see equity as a tool and not a trophy. This is the pattern I admire most. And it aligns with something I've believed my entire career, long before real estate. Back to my days building other businesses, ownership is not the finish line. Ownership is the starting line. The winning homeowners in Las Vegas right now are the ones who understand that their home equity is capital, and capital should work. Whether that's accessing equity to purchase a second property in this market while buyers have leverage, whether that's using appreciation to trade into a neighborhood with a stronger long-term fundamental, whether that's unlocking cash to invest in something else entirely. The winning move is treating your home not as a place to park your net worth indefinitely, but as a financial tool to be deployed strategically. You built equity. The question is, what do you do with it? The winners have an answer to that. The losers are still waiting for the question to feel urgent. The 4th winning pattern is the one that ties everything together. The homeowner who takes the time to genuinely get informed about their market, their options, and their financial position, and then made a decision based on that information rather than waiting for fear to subside or conditions to feel comfortable. I've watched families in this city make decisions like this at the right moments. Buy in the right neighborhood before it peaked, sell before a correction, trade up during a window of buyer leverage. And I've watched what it does for their financial lives over a 5, 10, 15-year horizon. It is not dramatic. It does not happen overnight, but the compounding effect of smart, well-timed real estate decisions in a growing city like Las Vegas is genuinely life-changing over time. That's what I mean when I talk about generational wealth. It's not about one transaction. It is about building a pattern, a habit of treating your biggest asset with the seriousness and strategy that it deserves. I want to take a moment before the links and just speak to something that runs underneath everything I've said today. I spent my life watching people in this city, and in every other context I've been in, divide themselves into 2 groups without even realizing it. The people who own things, the people who don't. And I don't mean that just financially. I mean that as a mindset. There's a statistic. There's a statistic I come back to all of the time. Up to 70% of Americans live in a house they don't love. Not a house they can't afford, a house they chose because it felt safe or convenient or like what they were supposed to do. A house they settled for instead of building toward. And when I think about what that means for the way people feel about their lives every single morning, it genuinely bothers me. I built my career on one belief, that ownership matters. That the difference between owning your situation and renting your situation, financially, professionally, personally, is the difference between a life you build and a life you simply inhabit. Real estate is where most families either build their foundation or miss the opportunity to build it. I am a father. I'm a coach to my kids every week. I watch these young people learn what it means to compete, to fall down, to get back up, to build something. And the thing I want most for them and for every family I work with is that they look back 20 years from now and see that the decisions they made about ownership were the ones that gave their family options. That's what this work is really all about. Las Vegas is still a city where that is possible, where a family with the right information and the right guide can buy into the right neighborhood and let the city's growth do its work over time. That opportunity is not guaranteed to be here forever at the price points it's at today, but it's here right now. The question isn't whether Las Vegas market is going to create winners and losers in 2026. It will. The question is, which group are you going to be in? And that answer in almost every case starts with a single conversation. All right, if this video gave you something to think about, here are 3 ways to go deeper. If you own a home in Las Vegas and you want to sit down, even for just 15 minutes, and talk through where you actually stand in this market, what your home is worth right now, and what your options are, I'm the call. Link is in the description. Free, no pitch, no pressure, just a conversation with someone who knows this market and genuinely wants to help you make the right move. Every week, I send out a market update specifically for homeowners in my side of town, Southwest Las Vegas, Huntington Cove, Skyline Ridge, Rhodes Ranch, Mountains Edge, and the surrounding communities. What I'm selling, what's sitting, what the data is saying for your specific neighborhoods. It's free. It takes 4 minutes to read, and it's the kind of information that makes you the most informed homeowner on your block. Link is in the description. And if you want to keep getting this kind of content, real talk about Las Vegas market, no fluff, no hype, just honest information from someone who's been living and working in this city for over 20 years, hit the subscribe and turn on the notification bell. My name is Chriscashjalem, Realty ONE Group, Cash Jalem Group, Vegas Live Media, Neighbor First, Realtor Always, Builder by Nature. Las Vegas is for sale, and the homeowners who act with information and intention are the ones who win. Which one are you going to be?